Hi, this is Paul Haar from the saxophonist.org, and I'm here with a playtest and review of the Rue St. George Alto Saxophone by Andres Eastman. Overall, I enjoyed my playtest of the Rue St. George by Andres Eastman. This is the model that follows their famed 52nd Street model. That saxophone, which has been wildly popular lately, has rolled tone holes and provides a sound that's a little bit bigger and more spread, more like the cross between a vintage Con and like a super balanced action or balanced action Summer. This has a little bit smaller sound and a little bit more focused, well, actually a much more focused core to it. I tried both the tenor saxophone and the alto saxophone, and I will tell you I found a lot of great things similar between the two instruments, but the differences were, for me, notable. Overall, let's first talk about it. This is offered in gold lacquer with some beautifully done engraving, if you can see that. There are a number of additions and changes ergonomically to the saxophone. You know, if you're going to take 5 years to develop a new instrument, you're going to want to bring some of your A game. And they really do. And I go into greater detail about the specifics of these in the written review and also in an extra bonus video that can be only viewed through the online written review. But we do talk about things like the new thumb octave key. We talk about, I don't know if you can see it here, new feet on both sides that emulate more like flute, the paddles of a flute, as opposed to the typical key feet. You'll notice differences on the sterling silver plated touches. But overall, all of these together provide an ergonomic feel that is superior to a lot of saxophones that I've had the pleasure of playing. It cuts down on the noise, and really makes the instrument feel familiar. Again, we go into greater detail about those things, as well as some cons that we found, or minuses, in the written review and the extra video section available only online. Now, as advertised, this produces a wonderfully thick and focused saxophone sound. Now, my experience was not as good as what I had on the tenor. Perhaps that's because tenor is always going to be my home, or maybe because my work with alto saxophone is in the classical genre mostly, although I do play some jazz alto and big band lead alto every once in a while. My demands of what I'm looking for as far as an alto saxophone are a little bit more specific. Like the tenor, it comes with two necks. Each neck has a different bore, offering a different color. It has an S neck and an R neck. Now, as they've told me from the company, they don't stand for anything other than your ability to tell the difference between one neck and the other. I've been told that the jazz players prefer the S neck, and the classical players tend to prefer the R neck, giving a little bit, maybe the R is a little more flexible, the S has a little bit more immediacy and punch. Here's what I'll tell you. On alto, I could not play the S neck. It did provide a great centered tone and an immediate response, but I could not get past the pitch issues. To me, and for me, they were wildly different from the R, which really seemed to feel locked in once I found the right position of the mouthpiece on the neck. And so much so, these pitch issues caused me so many issues, so much so that the pitch issues on the S neck were so much of a problem that I was actually having a hard time playing some jazz examples. You know, when you're used to having a certain pitch class in your head and you feel yourself going wildly out of it, it's hard to do what you do. Now, I want to stress that that was me, but I felt it was important, and I think you can hear it in the playtest, how wildly different the registers were. Now, I did not have that problem with the R neck, so naturally I would gravitate towards it. One of the things I will say, I noticed a little bit on the tenor, but not so much as I did on the alto. I felt in both instances, the sound I was producing was being directed one way. So if I was trying to spread out the sound, even on a classical mouthpiece, I felt like I was being led in one direction. The sound was focused and I was pleased with it, but now if I want to spread that out, you hear that I can't, it doesn't sound much different. I really have to open up. So for example, if I'm playing the Blue Caprice, that's fine, but if I want, that sound, that Gary Foster Hollywood sound, I really have to over-pronate my throat to get it to do that. Wouldn't normally be a problem, but for me, like I said, I'm kind of a princess in the pea when it comes to alto saxophones. Nothing about this instrument would make me feel uncomfortable playing it in a musical situation, but just some of the tonal things that I like to do, I like to create myself. I felt like I was being kind of led into a certain direction. overall a very good saxophone and one well worth your time. Like all instrument tryouts, I highly recommend that you try a variety of mouthpieces with this instrument in a variety of settings, a bunch of different rooms so you can really get a sense, and of course, record yourself with the best capable equipment that you can get. It's really important for you to judge the merits of this horn based upon what you sound like to the audience. So to learn more about this, including extra video footage, be sure to check out www.thesaxophonist.org, your place for great interviews, great reviews, and educational features you can learn from.